All right, we are back. There was some games played over the holidays from some Ohio sports teams. None of them really ending very well. So instead of putting them all in separate videos, and because I am a little bit behind, I'll just put them all into one big video, one big ball of suck. Starting with the Cleveland Browns losing 17-10 at home against the New Orleans Saints in a bad weather game that you would think would favor the team from Cleveland and not one that plays in the South in a dome. However, that's not how things played out over the game. A lot of bad reoccurring things that happened in this game between the two teams. The Browns' run defense looking pretty awful at times. The Saints being able to adjust to the circumstances of the game. They figured out pretty early that focusing on throwing the ball with Andy Dalton was not going to be a recipe for success, and Taysom Hill looked pretty good running the ball, so they managed to actually stick with the theme and have an identity on offense in this game. The Browns linebacker position has been dealing with injuries and also just bad play in general, and the interior defensive line for this team has been just horrible all year, so that is a recipe for disaster against a team that's going to be committing to the run, especially with the weapons that they have there. Although Reggie Ragland as a linebacker did look pretty good, although maybe it does say something about the Browns where somebody can come right off the practice squad and look really good in this defense. Might be a bit of an indication on the Browns skill level there. More mysterious decisions by Stefanski on the offensive side of the ball for the Browns. Another really maddening 3rd and 4th and short sequence where you had a 3rd and 2 and a 4th and 2 and you throw the ball twice and it doesn't work out. You could at least give the ball to one of the best running backs in the NFL and Nick Chubb at least once, or even Kareem Hunt or anybody. You could try that if you wanted to, but no, they just went with throwing the ball and it didn't work, and they turned it over on downs. Another game for the Browns with only one offensive touchdown, although they definitely should have had more, not just in the sense of like, oh, they should always have more than one touchdown, but just in some of the bounces in this game, they definitely should have gotten more than one even with their situation. A bad drop by David Bell for an INT that led to a touchdown for the Saints scoring wise. That interception was not on Deshaun Watson. It went off of David Bell's hands and into a Saints defender. That was pretty bad. And drops in this game for Cleveland seemed to basically kill them all game. Amari Cooper slipping in the end zone when he was wide open. The Browns having to settle for a field goal there, and that would be their last points of the game. And on the final drive, going to the end zone trying to tie it, Donovan Peoples-Jones drops a ball that you want him to make. I know that it would have been a tough catch to make, but it's one that you want your wide receiver to definitely be able to hold on to 10 times out of 10, especially in that circumstance where you're trying to tie the game on your final drive and you know you're not going to get another chance. And then on 3rd down, David Njoku with an inexcusable drop. The ball was right on the money. Nobody was like batting out of his hands or anything. If he just catches this thing and falls forward, it's a touchdown. You get a chance to tie it, force overtime. But instead it's dropped for pretty much over nothing. And then on 4th down, Deshaun Watson getting sacked on that final drive. The game over, and definitely that ended the season as the Browns were eliminated from the playoffs with a loss, although the playoff hopes, again, were very, very dim to start with, but that just kind of put the nail in the coffin there. Myles Garret benched to start the game, kind of unknown why, and then it was came out today that it was for disciplinary reasons. What those reasons are was not disclosed to the public, so who knows why Myles Garret was forced to be benched for the start of the game. So causing some drama in Cleveland along with just some bad football play. That's never a good mix for a locker room, a team, a culture, or anything. Although maybe it's not drama and it's been, the hatchet's been buried now that there's been a punishment for it. Maybe it was well deserved, but we as Browns fans don't know what Myles Garret did to warrant this. So of course there's going to be speculation if we're not told if we're being told that a player was punished, but when we're asked why he was, it's just kind of like, well, that's in house. So of course there's going to be some speculation among the fan base and what it is. But I guess if Myles Garret did something to deserve punishment, then I guess he should have been. Although again, without knowing what specifically it is really hard to get a read on if I and anyone else thinks that this is personally like a good length of time or not. But the fact remains that this team is now out of the playoffs and is now last place in the AFC North, which again, kind of embarrassing for what the expectation was for the season. Even with the Deshaun Watson thing and him being suspended for so long, there were still some that thought, if they can just kind of tread water with Jacoby Brissett in at quarterback and do whatever and wait for Deshaun to get up to speed, then maybe there's some hope for the season. But I do think that one of the best Christmas presents that the Browns could have gave us with this game is finally killing off the false hope for this season. It's nice to just know that the Browns can officially just be kind of just floating in the water for the rest of the season and focus on the next year. Maybe hope to play spoiler the next couple games. Whatever, I don't know. Just as long as I don't have to worry about if there's I don't have to worry about a consequence to winning or losing these games anymore. So I'd like to thank the Cleveland Browns for helping me with that. We're gonna stick in Cleveland, but we're moving on to the Cleveland Cavaliers losing at home against the Raptors, 118-107. I'm not sure what it is, but the Raptors just have the Cavaliers' number this year. Toronto and Cleveland have had very different seasons as far as standings in the record, but whenever they get on the court together, the Raptors just have their number. They're one step above them for whatever reason. The Cavs do have one more shot at getting a win over the Raptors in late February. However, with the way the results have gone, maybe that's more of a dreading thing than a hoping to get another shot at them. But hopefully they're able to at least get one win over Toronto in this season. Hopefully, most of the starting five for the Raptors pretty much went off in this game. OG specifically holding Donovan Mitchell on defense was pretty key in this game. And the Raptors scoring 39 points alone in the first quarter is never good. I don't care if it was like, I don't care about excuses about ref ball or if the foul calls. I don't care if you allow a team to score 39 points in the first quarter. You're usually not going to come back from that and win. So look, I know the Raptors play in a way that maybe the Cavs find really tough to play against, but they either have to be able to adapt to that style and maybe play a little bit more of their game too, or impose their own will and impose their own style of play on the game before the Raptors take control of it like they did against the Cavs. And something that the Cavs have given us for the holiday season is that, despite the Raptors game notwithstanding, they have given us a pretty good team to cheer for and root for. I think the record is 22-12. I think that record kind of speaks for itself. They're near the top of the East. Maybe you'd like to see a little bit even more consistency, maybe some lineup decisions that could be made here and there. But overall, this Cavs team has been pretty fun to watch this season, and I have to cover some team that's doing pretty good so far. And then last but not least, last and kind of least, we're going to cover the Columbus Blue Jackets. They lost in Chicago to the Blackhawks, final score of 5-2. The Blackhawks, by the way, were dealing with, I think, an 8-game losing streak heading into that game. So, yeah, losing to them, and especially in the fashion that they lost, it was 4-0 early in the second period. So it was pretty much a rout for most of the game. It was just kind of embarrassing to watch. The usage of the fourth line for the Blue Jackets is kind of crazy. I know that the Corrali, Robinson, and Olivier line might be defensively responsible, and you might want them to maybe get in there to calm a game down or something, but I feel like they're kind of being used as a crutch, even though they probably shouldn't be. It just seems like if the coaching staff is kind of unsure what to do in a game, their default solution is, well, just throw the fourth line out there and see what happens. It was pretty bad, although everybody looked bad for the Blue Jackets in this game pretty much, especially the top line, which the line A, Johnson and Gaudreau line was actually kind of looking pretty good in the recent games. This one, not so much. Kirill Marchenko and Marcus Bjork did score goals in this game, so that's cool, I guess. I mean, it is exciting for the future of this franchise if Kirill Marchenko does continue to show scoring promise like he has in this, as he's been getting reps with the team. If Marcus Bjork becomes like a diamond in the rough kind of player from overseas that sometimes Jarmo gets, then that would be a nice story too. But again, as far as this game goes, it was already 4-0. Good for you for scoring goals, but man, this was a rough night for him. Patrick Kane with a 3-point night against the Blue Jackets. What else is new? He always seems to save his best for them, or maybe the Blue Jackets just save their worst for him. Who knows? But while this is an embarrassing game for the Blue Jackets, and this season has been just absolutely horrible and terrible, and all the bad adjectives, all the negative connotations you can use for this Blue Jacket season, it has been that. What they have given the fans for the holidays with this game was a victory in the battle for Bedard or Fantilli or Carlson or whoever the best player in this draft is. They did get a victory in that, although maybe the battle for the best chance to acquire Bedard, because again, even if the Blue Jackets are the worst team in the NHL and they get top lottery odds, it is still not anywhere near a guarantee that they land the top spot, but losing these games and having teams below you like the Blackhawks get points, then maybe that's a 4-point swing in getting a better player for next year, which I know, again, I'm going to root for this team to win, but with every loss, I'm going to view that as the consolation prize. The consolation prize for losing and having a terrible season and being, injured to hell and back is that you get a shot at a franchise-altering player in this draft. This draft is loaded with tons of good talent, and if you get a top pick in this draft, then theoretically you get a premier top talent in a premier top draft, which is this is something that this franchise could definitely use. Also, their home game tomorrow against the Sabres has been officially postponed due to the Sabres not being able to travel to Columbus because of some airport closures in New York. So that game is going to be postponed. No makeup date has been announced yet. And this is now their second game that has been postponed. The other one was a road game against Nashville when I think the Nashville arenas, some of their pipes burst and caused some flooding. So overall, not a great holiday season for the Ohio sports team so far. But again, the Cavs play tonight. The Blue Jackets are going to have games, and again with the Browns, now they can officially say, well, our focus is now on to next year and the future of the organization, which hasn't worked out yet. It worked out for a playoff win once, but that's kind of it. But there's always next year for them. So thank you all for watching. If you made it this far, please feel free to leave a like and a subscribe if you enjoyed this video. I hope you guys had a nice Christmas Eve, had a good Christmas, and I will see you at the next one.